New Zealand's Minister of Foreign Affairs stopped short of taking a firm position on the upcoming release of treated nuclear wastewater into the Pacific, following her meeting with the head of the UN Nuclear Agency. Anti-nuclear activists have called repeatedly for New Zealand to take firm opposition, given the country's long anti-nuclear stance. Nanaia Mahuta met with Rafael Grossi in Auckland before he travelled to Rarotonga to meet with Pacific leaders. Lydia Lewis spoke with Nanaia Mahuta after the meeting.
It was an important meeting to be able to meet Director General Grossi, who leads the IAEA and is doing some very important work in relation to issues regarding nuclear safety, security and safeguards. On that front, we did discuss the issue of Fukushima, and so we covered off the approach that had been taken to form the recommendations of the report. It's an independent report. He has already met with South Korea and Japan, and following the meeting with myself, he'll be going on to the Cook Islands.
Is the IAEA's assurance that you've just been given enough for the New Zealand government?
The IAEA has a number of measures by which it considers in terms of the safe release of nuclear wastewater to the ocean. It's an independent report. So now he is undertaking the process of engaging with Pacific partners, and that will be reflected in a meeting tomorrow in the Cook Islands.
What does this say about Pacific solidarity? Because I know that Pacific nations are still divided on this. Some assured, like New Zealand, and others not so much. What is your message in regards to solidarity in the region on this issue?
Well, first of all, the IAEA report identifies through science what threshold of safety is required to release nuclear wastewater into the ocean. It's an independent set of recommendations. I am encouraged that the IAEA has taken it upon themselves to engage with the Pacific to hear their concerns and the nature of their long-standing worries about the impact of nuclear testing in their region, the health of the oceans, and gain some further insight about their response to the report.
Absolutely. You just mentioned your science and the importance of that, but an expert on the PIF panel has said that the science doesn't all add up. And New Zealand is part of the Pacific Islands Forum, and essentially this panel is giving advice to the forum. So does New Zealand not trust the science of the panel that has been brought in independently to look at what is going on?
No, this isn't a matter of whether or not New Zealand trusts the science fraternity, whether it be the IAEA or the PIF. What we want to ensure is that the safe release of nuclear wastewater is evidence-based, and that all those parties who are impacted are engaged with, and in this instance it's our Pacific partners. So we're very clear about that. We know that the IAEA is an independent body. The science continues to evolve, and I'm sure that's going to be the active conversation that will occur with Pacific partners, is how can we continue to be informed by science to have greater assurance that if nuclear wastewater is released, that there are adequate safeguards over a long period of time to protect our ocean space, and that's at the heart of the conversation that needs to be had.
And following the report from the IAEA, do you have that assurance?
Following the report from the IAEA, the process is that the IAEA will engage with the Pacific Island Forum, identify the process that they went through, the scientific considerations, also the collaboration that they had globally on the science, to identify why it came up with its set of recommendations. There'll be an open opportunity, I'm sure, for the Pacific to reflect back their concerns, but the decision ultimately around the release of wastewater is not a matter for the IAEA, it's a matter for Japan. So there's still some conversations to occur before decisions are made of that nature.
If Japan goes ahead with their release, there is a press conference later this week where I understand they may be announcing a date. Will New Zealand support that with the information, the science that is in front of you right now?
New Zealand continues to stand alongside Pacific partners to ensure that their concerns are adequately taken on board. We've been consistent about that. In my bilateral meetings with Japan, I've raised this as an issue that we are very concerned about. So we, like Japan, await to hear the outcome of tomorrow's meeting from Pacific partners. We are a part of the Pacific Island Forum, so we will ensure that our voice builds and bolsters the interests of the Pacific.